Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to PSGL. George Morgan here, your commentator, alongside me, TK, who is going to be rounding off the season with me.
Down the inside,
Absolutely impossible scene.
This is for the win between these two.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
He needs to get it done now.
Blakely will dive to the inside.
We'll go bust. We got our elbows out.
Ronard takes the lead.
Because here comes Alfie Butcher.
Can't really complain with that one.
It's not going to be easy. The pressure is on, of course.
Yarda Watmere is your champion.
Good evening and welcome back to PSGL. It is time to get going for round 4 here in season 40 for the F3 tier. We get ourselves over to the one and only the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix in Imola. 4.909 kilometers long with its 19 turns and only one DRS zone with its detection point. Now, this is where things get a little bit interesting down out towards turn 2 and 3 Tamburello, because that's where you could see double overtakes coming with that slipstream. It's one of the only places you're going to get that speed to make these overtakes. Other than that, it's going to be one huge train as they navigate through these sectors. My name is Corey Brooks, one of your two commentators for this evening. Join with me in the booth, the man who's done it with you for the start of the season. It's Max Ring.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome. I am pleasure to be back once more in the commentary box here on your Thursday nights. But yes, as Corey has mentioned, we are here at Imola. It should be an absolute classic of a race at one of the more unforgiving facilities and circuits on this racetrack, on this calendar. Sorry. So it should be a fun one indeed. How are you, Corey, on this Thursday evening?
Excited, very, very excited. We've got a freeze of your camera. You just sort of frozen with your arms in the air. That's fantastic. We love that. Somebody get a screenshot of that. Oh, he's back. He's back. The man's back. But yes, no, I'm very excited. I'm excited to get going here to see what the F3 drivers can do, especially here in Imola. It's been tricky, it's been dangerous, and those track limits have been unforgiving in F124. We come back, a new game cycle, new track limits, and this time we can go racing with absolute confidence, absolutely send it around these corners. Sector 2 is where things are going to get interesting as you come out of Tossa, up to Piratella, and even up towards, down the hill towards Aqua Minerale. That's where things are going to get interesting and tight. You've got gravel traps everywhere, left, right and centre. Can't afford to run it wide or you'll pick up some dirt and slow yourself right back down, lose positions, if not lose the lead of the race.
Yeah, you certainly will. This circuit is definitely one where you don't want to be messing with the track limits of any sort, or even just running that little bit wide. It's certainly a track that does punish you for the smallest of errors. Does this facility? It really is a driver's circuit. The driver makes a whole lot of the difference. So that's where we'll see whoever comes out on top, you would think would be the best driver when it comes to these conditions. It's a very mixed bag of a circuit as well, Corey. A lot of fast corners and then a mix of very slow speed corners and chicanes. So it's still got everything to play for you. I mean, you've got a corner that could really just be a strong point for everybody throughout this grid. So it should be a good one this evening.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, you may not see a lot of overtakes. People will be settling into their pace and finding their rhythm. Tyre wear is abysmal in this game. But while we are waiting for the drivers to get themselves ready, we'll take a quick little look at your standings so you can see who is where and who's fighting for what positions as we get going into round 4. Still very, very early days. But as you can see, Camille Statura leading the championship there, with Gregory just lurking behind by only 2 points. But you cannot count out Campbell Adams either, as he's just a point behind Gregory Prisville. And lurking further back, Lucas Putanen is 18 points level with Tomasetto Elia, who is your race victor from last time out. It's a bit of a late safety car, Max, if I remember you telling me.
Yes, a late safety car allowing Tomasetto Elia to capitalise on Campbell Adams, not really having any slipstream on that final lap, and was able to see himself through. It was a very interesting race in Belgium where we saw some rain hit the circuit at the start of the race, and then it carried on throughout. And then, of course, that late safety car, Adams also had a disconnect that might have ruffled his feathers slightly, and then Statura was able to see his way by it, as that's why Campbell Adams fell down to third. But before that, it seemed like he's racing the back.
Absolutely. Wojciech Steg as well, crucially scoring P2 in the Belgian Grand Prix, sits himself in 6th, just ahead of Isaac Lear. Enzo Soom, Ryan Modler, and Daniel Kuja do your top 10. And now we take a quick little look at the results from last time out. If you weren't here to join us, you can see them now displayed on your screen. Campbell Adams, the pole sitter, like you say, looking good for the race victory. A spot of weather and late safety cars costing him the win inevitably to Tomasetto. Camilo Statura, fastest lap, as well as getting that P2 though. Officially, sorry, so Wojciech Steg was unofficial, but actually officially it was Camilo Statura who got the P2. So I thought Wojciech Steg would have kept that one there, but no, fell down to P4 after stewarding. So some incidents that have gone to the steward's office and cost some drivers some positions, but ultimately helped Campbell Adams get a little bit higher though and take P3. He was down, way down there, in 17th in the unofficial results, but the official standings he finishes 3rd position.
Yeah.
Was that did he retire or something? Is that?
No.
Did he leave the session or something? To go from 17th to 3rd is a massive jump. Obviously, I wasn't here last time out, so something's gone wrong there.
Yeah, I think he did. I think he did to go from 17th to 3rd. I think there was an issue for him there. It was really just overall a very crazy race. There was a few disconnects. Many drivers were also struggling with their own frames themselves, which was also very much a big issue. So for Campbell Adams, I think he disconnected at the end of the race, which then dropped him down and then put him back into 3rd after the results were officially classified. So yeah, for Campbell Adams, I think it was just a bit of rage, and also just with the game itself, kicked him out, and he was able to keep into 3rd place. Because of course, the game, if you retire it after the line or disconnect after the line, it automatically retires you and drops you to the back of the field.
Yeah, so maybe just a little bit of a game issue there. So a bit of misinformation coming from the commentary. I do apologise. I don't actually know where he crossed the line, but official results put him in P3, so still well within a good chance of getting up there in the standings and striking back here in round 4. Still early days. As I pull up the calendar for your viewing pleasure, you can see that we still have 8 rounds to go after this one. Britain, Hungary and Bahrain doing your next lot of runnings into this mid-season, mid part of the season we could say. And then you have a break before you come back for your final 4 rounds. Texas, Japan, Vegas, Brazil and Mexico. Now what I can say is that the drivers are taking to qualifying. We're about to go trackside to see what these drivers can do.
Yep, of course, this circuit very difficult to get right in qualifying, so let's see what they can do. My game is actually currently struggling at the moment. It was alright just a few minutes ago, and now all of a sudden, oh, I've disconnected once again. I have no idea what's going on with my game. I was disconnected a little bit just before we started. It was alright earlier, so I think it's just a little bit of an issue on my end where I need to restart it, so should be alright. But yeah, Corey, this circuit, very difficult to get right in qualifying. Invalidation hotspots everywhere around this circuit, so it should be very interesting indeed.
Absolutely. We're currently on board with Zalan Bieda. I think he's going to be the driver to take us away with the first timed lap, and followed very, very closely by a V-cab. That could be Daniel just lurking behind, or it could be Tomasetto, who's coming back to try and strike back and score back some more points, following on from a high from last week, taking a victory in Belgium. But on board with Zalan now, as he comes down that mighty long start-finish straight, will open the rear wing for the one and only time and come flying down towards turns 2 and 3. Now, it should be turn 1, but it's not. Tambrello is 2 and 3 of a slight little kink coming down that DRS straight that they have deemed worthy of a corner number. Therefore, you have turn 1, right about a couple hundred metres after the start-finish point. And now on board with Zalan, he's finished sector 1, gets around turn number 7, Torsa, gets flat to the floor all the way to the fast left-hander, Peratella. Lucas has retired from the session, could be serving a qualifying ban. Could be something to be looked into later on, but he will not be qualifying here today. We'll have to sit this one out. We're still on board with Zalan Bieda as he comes around Alta now. Very anti-Alta, if you want to get technical. Obieda absolutely sending his Red Bull. Flat out. We come now to Ravazza, double fast left-handers, trying to maintain your momentum and your speed. Now you burn what little of the battery you've got left. If you've got any, you get a brief little boost of DRS, and there is a 1:13.4 for your provisional pole time. Further behind, Daniel takes it ever quicker at 13.3, and then Cloud to go 13.395 before Felipe Salza takes it ever quicker at 13.2 and jumps again by Tomasetto. So you can see that the lap times are getting quicker. You can see the track evolution coming into play as the minutes start to tick down to 10th gain now for Aaron Ramirez. I don't know what his name is. I can just see Aaron Rame. I'm not entirely sure what your name is. I do apologise, but I'll learn it soon enough. He's the provisional pole sitter. Max, how are you doing with your game?
I should just be getting back in now. I'm just rejoining the lobby. It's Aaron Ramirez.
Ramirez.
Line there. Yeah, I'm just loading back in now. Hopefully, we have some better luck this time around. My game is running a lot smoother as well, so I think it was just an issue on my end where the game was just potentially just trying to process too much all at once. So now, touch wood, I'm back into the game, but it seems like we've had quite an interesting start to qualifying, and with the track evolution going to be kicking in, it's very big around a circuit like this where as more cars tick by, you're going to get quicker lap times, find more grip, the circuit gets more rubbered in, and be certainly in for a good qualifying session. It will come down to who comes across the line last and who certainly will be pushing the very limits at the end of this session.
Absolutely. Currently on board with Stephen Vato. The Haas, who's on a push lap, who was on board with Valentino Labella, who goes to 13.2. Leonardo Tonelato goes 13.1 with Isaac Leat as well. Still on board with Vaso, the Haas driver coming around Aqua Minerale now, gets himself flat to the floor to finish sector 2 and will be greeted by Variante Alta. 14 and 15 chicane, which can prove to be devastating. You see the gravel trap on the outside though, you run it a little bit too wide, take too much curb, you get that understeer and slip out wide, and you just end up stuck in that gravel trap as well. Very, very easy in Ravazza to run it a little bit wide, pick up some gravel on that right hand side, which will slow your momentum down and cost you what could be tenths at this speed. Across the line goes Stephen Vassell, 13.5, before Gregory takes it quicker and immediately jumped by Fedor Presikan with a 12.861. Gregory just 1/1000ths away with an 8.62. That's how close it's getting here, Max. Down to the literal 1,000th of a second.
It really is. This session is going to be ramping up as it ticks by. It's certainly going to be a very interesting one indeed. With Tudor Preskin now at the top of the order. With his teammate Lucas, of course, serving that qualifying ban from an instant in Belgium, and is now having to be at the back of the field. So we're at a McLaren sandwich so far in this qualifying session. It actually says, I don't know if this is on your end as well, Corey, I'm in the Aston Martin. I don't know if that's on your end too, but I'm down in 17th apparently, and I joined the lobby, even though I've not been picked a car or what.
Oh no! Right, when you rejoin the lobby, did you press join session or did you press spectator?
I pressed spectator.
Oh no! It's put you in as a driver. Oh no!
Hopefully we have no latecomer who needs that car.
Max, do you have the ability to drive? Are you in the garage or are you in spectator view?
I am in spectator view, that's the thing. It's just, I'm on the leaderboard for some reason, which I do not understand why.
Are you strange? Your commentator's taken to the tarmac.
I mean, that's taking roving reporter to a whole new level. If we want to get me in the car to just drive around with the drivers, no, I'm only joking.
You're gonna give us some great insight on the tyres, that's for sure.
Exactly, but I don't think I've got the capabilities to really keep up with these drivers. My racing days are long behind me. But yeah, so I'll be starting this race apparently in 18th, well, 19th place if everyone gets a lap on the board. And if it does put me in the car, I'll just retire, or we might even have a lobby restart for it. We'll have to wait and see. But we're now going to get those second runs underway here, Corey. And the first driver out on the circuit looks to be Camille Statura, as he's now heading up into Pinarino now.
Yeah, well, we do have Daniel on a push lap, or is he not on a push lap? No, he slowed it down. That's a double out lap, so maybe it was a push lap. We'll go on board with the Kicks Albert. Camille Statura is pushing very, very hard out of Aqua Minerale, though, trying to generate the tyre temperature needed to go on that push lap. Get to Variante Alta now, dispatched off very nicely. You see how close that gravel trap is, just the slightest dip of the tyre, and you lose precious momentum and speed, which is where you need it coming out of Alta as you come down to Ravazza. You need to be quick on the power, because that could be the place to make an overtake in those double left-handers. Now, Camille Statura moves all the way over to the left-hand side to get that beneficial line down towards the start-finish straight. Rear wing open, burning a little bit of the battery, and now will be met with Tamburello. Fast left-right chicane, fires it to the left, cutting, bouncing over the apexes though. On the exit of 3, does very well over 4, flat to the floor now. Now, this is a corner that I get a little bit questionable with when I do some practice runs in time trial. I've noticed that you can sometimes flat turn 5 and 6 in Villeneuve, you can sort of do it, but you've got to be very careful, very, very careful on your entry of 5, because when you come back around 6, it's definitely a lift and a slowing that car down. You've got to really shed that speed, or you just don't get the rotation back around to the right. But on Camille Statura now as he comes down to Aqua Minerale. And Max, did you disconnect to try and fix the issue on the game? Or did you just disconnect? Oh, Camille Statura is backed out. Completely and utterly backed out of that lap. Not happy with that one. We're having some core comms issues at the moment, so you just have to bear with me at the moment, guys. The game's being the game. Since the recent update, we've noticed a fair share of issues, as well as overheating and causing issues with consoles and PCs. The game has certainly hit a bit of an unfortunate dead spot, but Camille's going to go again. But unfortunately, it wasn't Camille, it was Valentino. I think it was it Valentino or Bella or not? It was not. I'm going to find who's next on the lap. Not Leonardo Tornolato. There's a Mercedes down towards the line. That's Felipe Souza to start a lap. No, into the pits goes Souza. Who's on a flyer? Somebody give me a lap time. I know Camille will most likely be on another flyer now, but it is invalid, so that's no improvement to come. Oh, Camille Statura, Isaac Lear down towards Aqua Minerale, the Williams, to see if he can do it. Coming very, very quickly. Back up that hill, bouncing over the apexes, moves out of the way. Does the Haas of either Vasso or Victor Widler. Fastest sector 2, although it could just be personal best. You can never trust that purple line on the map graphic. It could mean purple, it could mean personal best, you never know with this game. But now to Ravazza, round to one left-hander, back around the second left-hander, flat to the floor, burn what little of the battery you've got left. You get that rear wing open for one little push sprint to the line. It's a 12.9 and up to P3 for Isaac Lear. Beautiful lap there, but I'm expecting to see some lap times come pouring in from other drivers. We see the Haas down towards the line. That being Victor Widler to start his lap. There's an Alpine coming down. That could be Valentino Labella is indeed to start a lap. Did the double outlap phase to try and help with that tyre management, heat up those tyres a little bit more. Invalidation though for Valentino Labella, unfortunate. We'll go on board Victor Widler. Widler has also received an invalidation, so some drivers still struggling with the track limits. Rihard Sprogis done a lap 13, I believe. He's either heading to the pit, so he's now going to push. Rihard Sprogis in the Alpine, now on a push lap. We'll stay on board for this one. I think I've lost my core comms. Max, are you with us? Max, are you with us? Not entirely sure what has gone on there. Okay, Max's PC has restarted itself. We're having core comms issues, currently solo at the moment. But Rehard Sprog is pushing up towards turns 9 and 10. Peratella, very fast left-hander. A lot of fast left-handers on Imola circuit. So that right side tyre degradation, especially on the rears, is going to be screaming at you. Very, very high degradation. But for Rehard Sprogis, he's dealing with these corners well. Very anti-alter now. Dispatched of not even getting close to that gravel trap. Does very, very well to stay clear of any unfortunate incidents to come his way. Now we've got Rabatza to go before he's just on a long straight to finish off what will be qualifying. Very, very close to track limits there. You can see maximising the use of the track, almost running it wide, but dives into the pits. Not happy with that lap. We'll go on board with Tador Pressacan coming around Rabatza. Now the final 2 turns to go to see if there's any sort of improvement to come their way. Hello, Omi. Nice to see you in the chat, my friend. Getting some lap time insight, I believe. Good commentator knowledge there. Looking to see what the lap times are going to be.
Hello, Corey. I'm back.
Max is back with us. He's alive.
Hello, everybody. I am back. My PC, for some reason, just fully restarted itself. I have no idea why. But I'm back for the last runs of qualifying. That's all that matters. I'm here before the end. Everything seems to have looked to stay somewhat the same here, Corey, especially with Tudor and Gregory's lap times. No one being able to improve on it just yet. So it's going to be an interesting end to this one. I think we are going to have a lobby restart after potentially thanks to the game bugging out and putting me in a car, even though I was in spectator cam when we joined the lobby, and also I pressed Y for spectator cam anyway when I rejoined from the disconnect I had originally. So we've got Tomasetto Alea out on the circuit. Of course, a reserve driver, the first reserve driver to win all season last time out in Belgium, Corey. So it should be, hopefully, a good lap from the V-Carb. So let's see what last time's out race winner from 2 weeks ago can do around here in Imola.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm expecting to see the reserve driver pull something out. If not, being a striking chance at those front runners, was certainly there to impress. In Belgium, does not want to be known as just a track-dependent driver. Does the reserve driver coming back now in the B-Carb. Will get the power down, coming down that mighty long start-finish straight. Some traffic ahead coming out of the pits, but certainly will pass those with ease. It's the Hasses ahead that he may get a little bit caught up in, but done with turn 1. That little pathetic kink of turn 1 into Tamburello turns 2 and 3. Done very, very nicely. Staying well away from the apex there, turn 4. Trying to maintain momentum and speed coming back around as we get going through Villeneuve. And finally, around Tossa, turn 7. Sector 1 done and dusted. Looking to potentially improve on this lap. Could there be any more time to gain as we get up towards Paratella now? Ooh, very, very close to invalidating there. Really almost running wide on the track limits, but ahead of Aqua Minerale we go back up the hill towards Variante Alta. Turns 14 and 15, 1/10 up so far. Not a pole setting time, but with just a couple more hundredths, could be looking at the front row, maybe even, the second row. Maybe even P3 there, challenging Isaac Leah. But now into Ravatsa we go for Tomasetto, Elia, however you say your last name, Elia. And to cross the line, it is on the second row, but just behind Isaac Leah. 12.960, just thousandths separating those two drivers. It's coming down to thousandths here, Max. Things are getting very, very close.
They certainly are indeed. I mean, look at that. Just under a tenth of a second separates that top 4. And now I'm on board with Camille Stature, who's up by half a tenth in that middle sector. A little bit scrappy over Variante Alta, maybe a little bit understeer in the first part, hindering him massively as we now head down into the first of the 2 Ravatsas. Nicely done through there, bring the car out wide, that through 4th gear, slowly bring that car back on the power. Lucky to not invalidate there, went a little bit wide. Can Statura hit the front of the field? No, lost time. That's surely all going to be from heading through Variante Alta. Wojtek Steg. Oh, I think there's been a run in there for Wojtek Steg. Between him and one of the V-Carbs, he's out of the session. He's lost his front right-hand tyre. A huge smash for Wojtek Steg on the exit of Variante Alta. Isaac Lee has invalidated his time. They'll be coming in quick and fast are these lap times now. Ryan Modler to the line now. He's up by 2/10 in the middle sector. Goes up to 8th fastest. Nicely done from the kick. Sauber, who else is on a lap time around them, who's going to be heading up to the line? Victor Vidler in the Haas. He's invalidated on his lap. What about his teammate Stephen Vasso up to the line? He stays in 15th, but he's going to be going for one more run. He has time to go again. Same for his teammate Vidler. Labella, Cloud cannot go any quicker. They stay 3rd and 14th from Minguez to 9th. What about at the front of the field? Tudor Priscan down by 5 thousandths. Gregory Przybal, let's see what he can do in the middle sector. It's all eyes to the front two on the grid as we head into that middle sector split now with Gregory. He's down by 800ths of a second as we head into the Variante Alta. Just avoids an Alpine who's off on the side of the road. So as we head down the hill now into the first of the two Ravazzas, can Gregory put out a stonking final lap to shoot himself to the top of the times? It's all come down to this final sector. He just needs 2 thousandths to take that pole position away. He does find the time. Przybal to the top, and Tudor Preston is down by 6 thousandths of a second. He'll need another monstrous final sector like we've just seen from the Mercedes. Can the McLaren fight back and snatch it back away from Przybal? Yes, he can. What a final lap from Tudor Preston to move himself onto that provisional pole. Leonardo Todolato is invalidated. Zalambida has done the same as well. But at the front of the field, Przybal 40 had done it a last gasp final lap. But no, Tudor Prescan fights back. He saw the benchmark and absolutely threw down the gauntlet.
Absolute master lap there from Tudor Prescan coming out of the final corners. Was down, looking like the time was not to be, but absolutely fired it around the second part of Ravazza. Got all the momentum carried through that turn and put full faith into that McLaren and managed to pull the time back when needed most. And 400ths of a second is more than enough to separate him and P2 from Gregory. Gregory put in a valiant effort, but it was all for Tudor Prescan, who's been leading for quite a while in this qualifying session.
Yeah, if you can jump high, I can jump higher, says Tudor Prescan, and he takes that pole position. What a final lap that was from the pair of them, and it all boiled down to both their final sectors, and it was Prescan who came out on top. 400 separate that top two. Isaac Lee in 3rd, Tomasetto Alea in 4th, followed by Kamil Stachura, rounding out your top 5. Wojtek Steg in 6th, Sprogis 7th, Modler 8th, Raminguez 9th, and Daniel Kuja in 10th. Very close throughout this field of Raminguez and Daniel, actually both setting the same lap times. It's Todolato, Salsa, Zalambida, Tom Roberts, Valentina Labella, Cloud, then it was Victor Vidler. Putinen was at the back with one of his fellow Swedish compatriots. I didn't see exactly who that was. I wonder if I'm going to be put in the car. No, I'm not. I'm not even being put in the car here, Corey. So I think the game is generally glitched. It was Victor Vidler who actually finished 19th, sorry.
Oh, so are we restarting? I went back to the commentator's corner. Are we restarting?
I want to say we are, because of course my car will be on the track. I have no idea why I have a car, because I've been in spectator cam this whole time.
So, are we restarting? This is what
I don't think so. Colin just said I was retiring in the pit lane, so I might have to miss out on the first lap, take control of my car, potentially, and then retire it in the pit lane. So I don't think anyone's here who will need to take that Aston Martin. So I think that is the game plan. That Corey, the first lap is all for you. I'll take control of my supposed car that shouldn't actually be there, but the game is bugged out. And then we'll be both back in the comms box to finish off. And I can maybe report on any...
Well, it is 3 lights. It is 5 lights. The drivers are ready to rock and roll. And it is all go, go, go And here we go. Tudor Preston gets away very, very well, but immediately Wojciech Steg having a run there on Kamil Stachura, almost getting a run through, trying to push side by side. Tudor Preston almost under attack from Gregory from behind. It's Isaac Lear as Wojciech Steg takes to the gravel all over the track. He's off and in the wall. Wojciech Steg has been sent for a spin, and there's a reset to try to get himself going again, but he's missing that front wing. He's been absolutely sent packing. Further down the order, they go 2 by 2 as Rihard Sprogis now gets up on Tomasetto for P5. The Alpine on a late little charge. We'll take a quick little look at the tyres. Everybody running medium compounds as Valentino Labella fights it out with Stephen Vasso. Vasso trying to push on through, but Valentino Labella really trying hard to defend that position as we get going down into Aqua Minerale. Everybody falls back into order, into line, and they tried to make the positions early on the race start. Things are looking a little bit dangerous out here, but a huge contact for Wojciech Steg, forcing him down the order, picking up that wing damage 5 seconds behind, and disaster for the Scarlet Red Ferraris as we go on board with Isaac Lear coming out of Ravazza now to finish off lap number 1. Drama and heartbreak for one driver, but for others, positions gained and capitalistic moves being made. Clouds now looking for a run on Victor Widler. Almost getting through. Widler forced to deploy that battery and slip back through. Max, are you in control of your car?
No. For some reason, the game's not even allowing me to take control of the car. So I think there is genuinely a bug in the game that if there is a spare seat, it puts one of the spectators into the car because I can't take control of it either. So luckily ghosting will be on, so it will not get in the way and impede it once these guys do come up to lap the AI. But still, it's a little bit of a nuisance in the way. I have no idea why the game has done that, but disaster for Wojciech Steg on that opening lap, and also for Aaron Raminguez as well. They're going to be expecting to take these hard tyres for as long as they possibly can and see what they can do in this race, and if they can recover anything as the laps tick by. Once we get to the end of this race, they'll really need a safety car to fight back into this one if they want any chance of scoring some decent points. As we now head down into the first Ravazza, it's Rihard Sprogis following Kamil Stachura, who's actually putting that pressure onto the back of Isaac Leak. So could we see a move here for third place? Of course, DRS is now finally open down that main straight, the only DRS zone on the circuit. But now we are going to be in that DRS train here, Corey. Many a driver just going to be sitting behind one another, just focusing on getting into that rhythm. And with these DRS trains being a bit more prevalent on these games, it's a lot more difficult to overtake.
Absolutely. You can just now see the gap to the leader and the time lost for Aaron Raminguez and Wojciech Steg. 37 seconds for Raminguez and Steg, 42 seconds. Disaster start there, but every driver now being a bit more conservative and just staying in line. Cannot risk any contacts.
No, they certainly cannot. This game, of course, where of course we are all following one another in a train, and it's very difficult to overtake. You can't afford getting any front wing damage, especially with the dirty air now being a lot more prevalent on this one too. If you get a little bit of front wing damage with the tyre wear, that can be accelerated as well. You see yourself falling further and further down the order, and Ryan Modler is now being put under pressure from Tonelato behind. So as we head into Ravazza once more, now about to be starting lap 4 of 32, and Wojciech Steg is back into the pit lane once more here, Corey. So I don't know if he's got potentially more damage or something's happened, because he's going to be a lap down here to Patinen. Not Patinen, to Preskin if he's not careful, and he will be a lap down as they head into that first corner and causing all sorts of pandemonium into the first couple of corners. He nearly got in the way of everybody there and potentially caused a huge pile-up, and he has actually caused some damage to one of the cars. Oh! I think Tom Roberts, and is there a crash further back?
He's just got in the way of a Mercedes, and he's well and truly in the way now. Tyre hooked with an Alpine. The collisions are doing no favours here. Whoa, big screen freezes, setbacks from Wojciech Steg. This is disaster, absolute disaster for the Ferrari. He's not having a good time out here.
No, he's not at all. He nearly caused some chaos at the front of the field into Tamburello, and then on the exit it's caused some more chaos throughout the midfield. I think he might have actually gave his Ferrari teammate of Tom Roberts some front wing damage in all of that skirmish. No, he is not, but I did see, I think, a front wing go flying off. I'm not sure who it was for, though, as we then head down into the Ravazza for lap 4 to be completed. But that would have been some scary times, especially for someone like Camille Statura, who was fighting at the front of the field and had to make some late reactions mid-braking zone into Tamburello, which could have easily seen the car sent spinning. But luckily was able to keep going. Stephen Vasso's now disconnected from the section. I can see a lot of drivers in between qualifying the race were complaining about screen freezes and also lag issues. So it seems like it's an in-game thing that might be causing these issues. And Wojtek Steg has finally come into the pit lane to retire. And unfortunately for the Ferrari, ever since that opening lap, it was just more dismal, and it kept raining and pouring. Unfortunately, those screen freezes bring an end to his evening.
Yeah, absolutely. You cannot race with the screen freeze, especially with the way it affects the car. So for 1 second, not even half a second, a split second of a screen freeze, you are completely out of control of the vehicle. It is completely unpredictable in that sense. Then when it does come back, you've lost what could be a tenth, 2/10, half a second, a full second with the way that it jumps you back into position. Then sometimes it can disconnect the wheel as well. I know Fanatec wheels have had disconnection issues off a slight screen freeze. It really confuses the force feedback settings, and then you've got no force feedback, and it can really mess up your driving style.
Yes, it certainly can. That is really the prevalent issue with the likes of Fanatec's and other real high force feedback DD wheels, is that it does then end up confusing them because they think a game isn't running with the screen free. So they somewhat switch themselves off internally for them to then come back, and then no force feedback at all. You only get steering, so it just makes things 10 times more difficult and worse. And that's what can lead to these potential crashes, or even drivers falling out of the points and going off the circuit, because they have no idea where they are on the track in relation to their competitors as well. So we head up the hill into the Piratella and heading down into Aqua Minerale. It's still Tudor Preskin who leads the way. This first stint will be a long peloton, you would think here. Drivers just pushing at different times, trying to get those overtakes done, but if they're not able to, just sit back into that train, recharge and go again. We're not going to see too many overtakes here this evening, you would think. It'll just all be in that later stint when everybody knows it is crunch time. You've got to put your foot to the floor, and that's exactly when we'll see them darting to the insides and starting to fight tooth and nail for their positions.
Absolutely, I was just on board with Tom Roberts. You mentioned tooth and nail, was having a good go. Leonardo Tonelato down into Aqua Minerale, but did not get the opportunity to slip on through. Seems Tom Roberts is quicker in that second sector. Leonardo just covering off every potential angle of attack from Tom Roberts, making that Aston Martin very, very wide. Stephen Vasso into the pits and retiring, suffering wave disconnects, lag issues, screen freezes. Is not fit to finish the Grand Prix, no doubt, as Wojtek Steg has also suffered a similar fate. So like you say, Max, some drivers have been complaining with the game issues, screen freezes, and I've noticed my PC's overheating since the recent update. So some things that just slightly need to be fixed at the moment, as they have released a new update. It's expected. The game can have a few little unforeseen bugs when updates do come out, but they try to get those fixed as soon as possible. So next week we could see the game back in a good order.
Yeah, hopefully so. It's been mainly a performance-related issue for some of these from this bug, really, for some of the hardware that are in people's PCs. And unfortunately here, I don't think my AI will ghost. So that could potentially play a Wojtek Steg scenario with that chase impact. But hopefully by the time they reach it, it'll be a pit window, and then it won't be able to be caught once again, and it just stays out of the way nicely. So it has just held up Aaron Dominguez, and Riyad Sprogis has just been overtaken by Daniel Kuja as they've actually dropped out of that DRS of the top 4. So that could be a big issue further up, and there's actually further back a crash between Valentino Labella and Salan Bida, who have got off at Tamburello. I don't know if there's been some tyre locking there into the corner. Someone maybe got on the grass and locked the rears, but there's been some contact there. The Red Bull was really straight off into the gravel, all spun round. Luckily, I think they've both got their front wings intact. I think there might have just been unfortunate scenarios there where Bieder's got onto the grass, locked up his rear tyres, and just gone spinning into the side of the Alpine. But for both Labella and Bieder, they're now off the back of the train. It's going to be a big comeback job for them. And Tonelato picks up her first time penalty of the race as well.
You can see Valentino Labella does actually have damage though. He's missing that front right end plate. Maybe he needs to get that changed out, but he's done 9 laps on the mediums, getting close to pit stop in time. This could not be a bad thing. It's going to be a time loss, yes, but not too drastic as you were, say, 3-4 laps ago from what we saw from Wojciech Steg and Steven Vassar with his current issues. So Labella has got a bold choice to make. Does he one stop here and now and try and push these hards long? Yes, he does. He's going to get that wing change, slap on some hard boots, try to go for 23 laps.
Yep, see how far he can go. And potentially hope for a safety car as well. So for both Patainen and the Bella, they're just going to see what pace they can deliver. It's been quite disappointing here from Patainen as well. He's just dropped off the back of the pack and it's just not looked like he's been able to recover at all. So let's see where Ramirez comes out in relation to these two. And he's quite a way clear of them. So he's going to be in a good position, you would think, potentially when everybody else comes into the pit lane. But he'll surely have to come into the box once more because he will not be able to take those hard tyres to the end of the race. The tyre wear will just be too harsh and too exaggerated. Thomas said to Alea as well here, Corey, has missed out on some left front end plate from his front wing. So there could have potentially been an incident there at some point during this race with somebody. And now he's going to be on the back foot as that tyre wear, especially on that left-hand side, it's going to be really poor. And he's going to have to come into a box potentially earlier than expected.
I think the only reason he's been able to maintain this pace so long is because most of these corners, the fast corners where you really need to maintain momentum, are left-handers. Right side tyres need all the grip they can get. He's still got a fully functional right side wing, so it's going to be more like here, Tamburello, where you've got to come back around to the right where he's going to lose all the speed, and as well as we get to Villeneuve. Here, he's going to come back around to the right, lose some speed, potentially understeer, and that gravel trap as well, very, very close. He's got to be careful coming out of turn 5 and 6 just to stay away from that gravel and lose out too much speed, potentially put his car into an uncontrollable place. Lap 11 pit stop, potentially for the other medium runners. Of course, we've had Valentino Labella, who's had to box. Try to maybe go the distance on hards. Again, you say the tyre wear could be too great. I absolutely agree with you on that, Max. It could be just a little bit too much, but the sky's looking a little grey. It's looking a little grim. Could we expect a spot of weather on the way?
It certainly is looking very overcast here in Imola, just over the Italian hills, and we could potentially see some rain fall down on this magnificent racetrack. So as we see drivers now into pit lane, Prajibul, Leach, Satura, Kuja, all now into the box, and we see Preskin and Sprogis both staying out. Of course, some drivers will have to stay out as their teammates are into the pit lane. It'll be too much of a time loss, and this pit lane is certainly an agonising one. You're in it for above 30 seconds. That's how long it is. It spans pretty much the whole of that main straight. See Zalan Bieder flying by. Let's see where Cloud comes out into relation from some of these drivers. He was within that train of cars, and he's now looked to do an undercut effect. So as we see Prajibul, Leach, Satura all now coming out of the pit lane. Cloud's been able to pass all the way up to Victor Riddler, and he's now into 12th place, 2.7 seconds back from Daniel, who will be a net P5 after this pit stop window. But for 1V car, that front wing damage could be hindering them slightly. But for Daniel, he seems to have great pace so far and has really been able to catch up and lock onto the back of Camille Statura in front.
Yeah, absolutely. Made some moves early on. Did manage to pull off that double overtake. They were outside of that DRS, but he has managed to pull back the time and claw back up to the back of Camille Statura as well, using... apologies, got a hiccup there. Using the pit stop strategy in his favour to stay there with those runners as well. Gregory, somebody I'm going to try and keep my eye on, leading that pack as Tador Presica now comes into the pit lane with Tomasetto Elia.
Yeah, this is now a crucial moment in the race. drivers coming into pit lane. And as Prescon now trundles at 50 miles an hour to that pit lane exit line, where is Gregory Przeeble, and will Przeeble be able to jump the McLaren? As there we go, down that main straight, and Przeeble, Statura, all of that four behind Tudor Prescon have just been able to jump the McLaren, and now we see Prescon on the back foot. He's going to have to now try and claw his way back through the field. Well, for 1 lap better tyre difference, but that won't mean too much as Isaac Lee is dropping off the back of Gregory Przeeble. So is the Mercedes now got to try and make a bid to try and pull away, pull off into the horizon and see himself further down the road. But that was a crucial moment in the race for Prescon. He went 1 lap too long, and he's not only dropped behind Przeeble, who was behind him, but he's dropped down to net 5th place.
Yeah, not looking good for Tudor Prescon there. Your pole sitter strategy forces him down the order, and with 20 laps to go, he's got a lot of work to do, but plenty of time to do so. It's Gregory now in his Mercedes trying to pull the 1 second gap, but as we near that detection point, it's still lurking at 7/10 for Isaac Lee. He's going to maintain DRS. It was a bit of a charge from Gregory in that second sector to pull away, pull some tenths back. I think he's done enough to defend his position this lap. I don't know if it's to say if he can do the same next lap. Everybody's going to start to catch up now. Gregory, outside of DRS, does not have it as the defensive aid that he could use it for right about now.
No, certainly will not. So for Isaac Lee, that will really keep him within contention and keep Gregory within touching distance. We're going to see Przeeble just do his best through the first few sectors to just streak as far clear as he can, so that DRS is negated from the Williams behind. Of course, we've seen Przeeble win that first race in Austria, so it could be our first double race winner so far this season. But of course, the likes of Statura, Prescon and Isaac Lee, don't count out Daniel Weaver, will be looking to try and stop that and get their first victories of the season as well. Of course, Statura is coming off a back-to-back second places, so 2 times being the bridesmaid. Is this his time being the bride here in F3 to get that first race victory of the season? We'll have to wait and see as we just about to reach half distance within the next few laps, as now we see Rihard Sprogist into pit lane. Let's see where Leonardo Tonelato as well. Let's see where they come out in relation to their own respective battles.
I expect to see them around 12, 13, potentially. P13, Valentino Labella could drop as far as him. If not ever further, Valentino Labella is now coming down to open, well, won't open the rear wing, but to cross the start-finish straight, and they've still not got themselves trotting down the pit lane. They get jumped, they're falling down ever more. Potential P15 here for Sprogis. It's even further. It's 15 and 16 for Tonelato and Rihard Sprogis. So they're at the bottom of the field. They've got a lot of work to do to gain that time back now. They will have the freshest tyres of the lot, but will it pay dividends in due time? Here we go, Tudor Prescon's making a move on Daniel there to the inside line as we get going to Paratella. Does make the move, gets the position taken away.
Nicely done there from Tudor Prescon. It's going to be a big question about Sprogis and Tonelato. Have they done their strategy right, or is it just going to be too little too late when those tyres do come into effect? But there's a very nice move there. Set up through Villeneuve chicane, then went for the move to the inside into Tamburello. And Prescon sees himself nicely up into a net P4. Of course, Tom Roberts still out on the road and now comes in to pit lane in that Scuderia Ferrari. But a disappointing evening so far for Roberts. Has not been anywhere near the front of the field where we're used to, and he'll surely try and claw something back, and he could be down with the likes of Sprogis by the time he comes out of the pit lane. But as we head down that main straight once more, it's still Przeeble leading the way from Leet, Statura, Prescon and Daniel Kuja are your top 5, and Cloud Fiddler and Modler with a really nice undercut in themselves here, Corey. They were all down near the back of the field and are now in 6th, 7th and 8th.
Yeah, good positions here. Victor Widler could potentially be the one to move up to 6 on Cloud. Just lurking outside of that DRS zone, getting ever closer and just slipping away. But as we now get going into Sector 2 for Gregory, what I will say is drivers and engineers, if you are listening to the comms, be very, very aware. Max Ring's AI is not going to ghost.
Yep.
Be aware of this. You are coming up very, very quickly. You're now in the same sector as the AI car. So be aware, this car will not ghost. You must overtake it, force it into submission. You're not going to drive through it.
Yeah, they do need to be careful of that one. I'm surprised ghosting is off, actually. Usually is put on to stop things like this with disconnected cars and also glitched cars, because for some reason the game has completely glitched out and decided to put me into a driver's seat, and we'll see what these drivers can now make of this. This now adds a little bit of extra tension to these front runners, because of course they don't want to catch the AI at the wrong time. And it could really hinder them a lot as Modeler gets his way past Vidler. Sousa able to get past the better as well. And Tonelato and Raminguez now squabbling, heading down into the Tamburello chicane. And Tonelato moves himself up into 15th with Sprogis now all over the back of Tom Roberts as we head into the Villeneuve chicane now. And Tom Roberts just able to keep a hold of that position. But I think if anyone's going to be making a move at the front of the field here, Corey, it's going to be Preskin once again, as he's all over the back of Camille Statura as we head out of Aqua Minerale.
Yeah, really looking to retake those positions. He was leading the race for the entirety of the first stint. They're just going one lap too long. You saw the seconds undercut that the rest of the drivers got, and he's now got his work cut out for him as he tries to retake these positions. Currently sits in P4, but he is fighting for track position here. Nobody has got to pit yet, unless damage comes their way. We can never count that out. Tudor Preskin now 4/10 behind, opens the rear wing, but Camille and Isaac Leah also have their rear wings open. Isaac Leah closing up, ready for a move. Not quite yet, as they close up ever closer to that AI. Gregory now all over the rear. Be very careful. Line up the move nicely. The car moves out of the way. It respects blue flag, but it's got to hold back Camille Statura. Oh no! Oh, through goes to no Pressican. He's had the door open for him and slips through to take P3 podium position. We was just saying be very careful, and Camille has been absolutely caught out by that one.
He certainly has. I feel so bad for Camille Statura because, of course, there's nothing that I could do to make the car retire or to get it out of the way. So, unfortunately for Camille Statura, he's fallen down to 4th place. And also, it's dropped these guys out of that DRS of Isaac Lee. But Preskin is oh so fast at this stage of the race, and he could easily claw his way back within contention against Isaac Lee and Gregory Prajipal. He just needs to focus up that a little bit more as we now head into the Ravazza. Camille Statura, that's a crucial moment of the race. He could have been able to keep Briskin behind if there was no AI in the way. That would have been the question. But as we now head down that main straight once more, Matt McLaren is going to be fired up as ever after that pit stop mistake.
Yeah, you can see he does not have the rear wing open, but was gaining a little bit of time there, deploying the battery. Cannot afford to lose out. Yeah, but why is it there in the first place? Exactly. The boss man is asking the question everybody wants the answer to, because, you know, the day EA release a game in the modern era that is fully functional, does not require any update, just works out of the box, will be the day pigs will fly.
Yeah, I think it really will be. I have no idea why the game has put a car in that is one of us, so yeah, I really do not understand it all. Because as we first went into qualifying, I was already in spectator mode, and then I disconnected the car. Well, of course, the car was still there when I was in spectator mode. And for Camille Statura, it's more heartbreak as he now gets a 3-second time penalty to add to his misery in that kick Sauber. We're halfway into this race now, was a few laps ago. Just reached that halfway mark as the AI is causing more drama with not only, I think that's Sprogis, but Tonelato as well as they exit out of Aqua Valiente Alta, sorry. Some more drama with the AI. But at the front of the field, Statura has got that 3-second penalty, which will be crucial, and Preskin is back within DRS of Isaac Leet.
Yeah, this is crucial for Preskin, done everything he needed to do to gain that time back. Well, Rizza, he tried that on the first 2 laps of the Grand Prix, and he's unable to take control of the car. If you was with us at the start of the stream, you would have heard that, but I doubt you've been here for the start of the stream if you didn't know that. He did try to take control of the car on the race start, but with no effect, and has not proved to be beneficial. Otherwise, he would have done so. We did try to get that into effect, and it's just not worked out. The game has said, Max, you are staying where you are, and you're going to be a nuisance.
Yeah, for some reason, for some reason the game has not even let me take control of it, even though instead of pressing spectator when I rejoin the lobby, I press join session, which then of course will put me, should have put me in that car, but it has certainly not worked to its effect, and this recent update once again has caused more bugs on to the game. Not only the performance issues, but also stuff like this as well. Raminguez now picks up a 3-second time penalty. I think also Victor Vidler did at the same time, as there's actually now a big train here, Corey, behind Ryan Modler, as Felipe Sousa able to get past Valentino Labella. So we could see some more action as we head into this next stage of the races. There's Tomasetto Alea. He was able to get past Cloud into Tamburello. This is the difference in tyres. This is that the drivers who boxed that little bit earlier versus the drivers on the fresher compounds, as Sousa to the inside, not able to get by through Villeneuve, and it's really all now just congesting into one.
Right on the outside, Salzman still looking for an open door, trying to make it work, and there's just nothing coming his way. The Mercedes really has the greater pace here. You can see the difference as he now looks for the inside line, trying to get a run up to Peratella now. Dives to the inside, does take that position with a beautiful move though. And can Cloud do anything into Aqua Minerale to try and fight it back? No, he cannot. That Mercedes is as wide as it needs to be. Tyres are displayed on the screen. I'm not going to go through it. You can see for yourself as Tom Roberts now looks for a move on Cloud. Cloud really struggling. 10 laps on those hard tyres. Those tyres are starting to slip away. But Tom Roberts now having the greater pace, only doing 5 laps now. Looks for an outside line as we go down to Ravazza, but cannot find that open door on Felipe Salza.
It does really seem that if you have quite a few laps fresher tyres compared to the rest of the field, you are going to scythe your way through the cars and through the trains. Here comes Roberts now, and Salsa using that battery. Up to 9th place he goes. Nicely done from the Scarlet Red Ferraris. Here's Fittler to the inside of Modler. Again, another really nice move, and that time the Haas had to really work for it to move himself up into 6th place. These guys are 10 seconds off that leading train of cars. So as we head now through the Villeneuve chicane and into Sousa, Tom Roberts sticking his nose out once more. Not able to get that move done this time around, but Roberts is very racy, and the best position he can get in this race, you would think, unless it's a safety car, is 6th, and it will certainly be wanting that by the looks of things at this stage of the race.
Yeah, absolutely looking to claw his way back through, retake his 6th position, rightly so. In that Scarlet Red Ferrari coming up out of Aqua Minerale. He's certainly got the tyre advantage on the cars ahead of him. Can Tomasetto Elia try and fight off the charge of Tom Roberts? He has got the freshest tyres in this pack. And Felipe Salza, he's going to have to try and defend now from what could be Cloud trying to charge back as he's gained some time, with Valentino Labella putting the pressure on Cloud as well.
Cloud now under all sorts of pressure. Those tyres, if you're on, say, 12, 11 lap old tyres, they're slowly starting to hit that cliff. And some other drivers are potentially just managing them a little bit better. So you can see at the front of the field, Preskin's all over the back of Isaac Leeton. There's Fiddler being overtaken by Modler. Anyone going to go for a move here into Tamburello, following him through? No, just going to sit behind for now. I say that. Cloud goes deep into the Tamburello chicane. So as we head up now into Villeneuve, is there going to be a move made? No, just going to have to sit behind for now. Not close enough, but as all this squabbling goes on, it allows Tom Roberts to slowly slice his way through the field. He's now past Alea and potentially going to be all over the back of Fiddler into turn 1, as now you see as well Valentino Labella getting out the way of not only Sprogis, but Tonelato as well.
Yeah, Sprogis now needs to try and close back up to Tonelato. Labella not doing anything to withhold his teammate on the charge. Labella just trying to damage limitate the race so far, make it to the checkered flag, are hoping for a late safety car. Ryan does not have damage that I'm seeing. I've just seen that in the chat. Does he have damage? Not that we are aware of. Ryan Modler still has a fully intact wing.
Modler, it's just really that tyre drop off. That's why potentially he, and of course being at the front of the train, he'll have no DRS. That's why he could be struggling ever so slightly, as you can now see Tom Roberts all over the back of the Haas of Victor Riddler as we head down into turn 1. Sprogis able to get past Cloud with that DRS as well. Is Roberts going to look to the inside line? No, just going to sit behind for now. Is he going to favour that move once more into Tozer or potentially out of Tamburello into the Villeneuve chicane? He's got a really nice run there against the Haas. Just will not be close enough. So it will be a look into Tozer, and that's Vittler nearly into the back of Ryan Modler. And that could have been some sheer pandemonium and potentially a huge incident if they all bunched up into one another. But this train of cars is really starting to get racy. You can see what strategies the drivers have gone for, what ones are working better, what ones are working not so great. And for Tom Roberts, he's certainly in a good position. He's now heading into the right-hander of Aqua Minerale. He's still over the back of Vidler. Will he go for the move into the Valiante Outer?
Or all over the rear of that Haas. Is he going to look for the inside line? No, you can pull off a move though, but it's at great risk, but comes with great reward. If you can line up in that DRS, you could charge back on Ryan Modler as well. P6 well and truly on the cards for Tom Roberts here as he just tries to close back up to the rear of the Haas. Victor Widler doing everything he can to defend off this charging Ferrari. Now further back you see Rihard Sprogis there getting very, very close to Tonelato. Tonelato has the time penalty, so Rihard Sprogis not feeling like he needs to take the position on track, but he's still going to try to slip on through with DRS.
Certainly trying to look for it. As you can see now around the outside, that's Leonardo Tonelato through Tamburello on Felipe Sousa. What a move that would be round the outside into Villeneuve as well. A beautiful move from the Aston Martin on those fresher tyres, and Sousa went sideways. Luckily was able to keep hold of the car as that's invited Sprogis now to the inside line. Is he going to be the next driver to check the Mercedes off his list? No, just going to have to sit behind into the Pirantello, you would think. No, an ambitious lunge, contact made, and another huge half slide from another car. Sprogis once again able to hold on to that car quite nicely. Raminguez has retired in the pit lane, and look out the front of the field once more. You're coming up to the AI, and these guys will as well, as Tom Roberts has actually been able to get past Victor Vittler. So is Tomasetto Alea. So I would wonder if there was a little mistake from the Haas somewhere around the lap.
Yeah, it seems to be, but here goes Rihard Sprogis on Cloud, retaking that position after a controversial dive to the inside of Piratella. Lost him positions ever more, but now looking to charge back through the field, retake those positions he once lost. As Felipe Sousa all over the back of Leonardo Tonelato. Now, is he going to try and make a move as we come down to Tamburello? No drivers looking for any open door yet. And those front runners, Gregory is going to catch the AI. It is inevitable at this rate. 7 laps to go, and they're in the same sector. Just a couple corners separating those. So once again, we may see some drama, some unfortunate incidents if they can't get past that AI safely. But right now, all the action is for this mid-pack, the back end of the points positions, literally for the single-digit scraps, and they're sending it all out here and now.
Yes, they certainly are, and we nearly saw Aaron Raminguez's AI get in the way of Tomasetto Alea, getting past Victor Vidler, but was able to get that move done quite nicely and stay in front of the Haas. But it was side by side, and then of course the vehicle had to dart back into the train as we saw the Red Bull slowly trundling out of the pit lane. So as we exit out of the Valiante Alto, you can see how big this train is. It goes from 6th all the way down to 14th. As we now see a late lunge there from Tonelato. That was ambitious, a bit too ambitious, as he went into the side of Tomasetto Alea. As we now exit out to the Ravazzes, the drivers at the front of the field are now catching up to that AI. I think they might have just caught it at the right time though. So on the exit of Toza, where the AI will try and let them through. Tonelato not able to get by on Vidler this time around. Roberts having to sit behind as well. As you can see, just in front on Gregory Pragibel. They're catching up to the Aston Martin. And, oh, they're actually going to catch it into Aqua Minerale. That's going to be a very dangerous spot indeed.
As well, Gregory's going to be... Oh, no, he doesn't move out of the way. But for how long does he move out of the way? Is he going to catch anybody? He dives back in just behind Tadeo Presican. Is Camille Statura the one who's going to get caught up again? I think he has, but not too much time lost. It's... Oh! Contact, Camille's been sent into the wall. Max Ring, I'm going to call it as it is. Max Ring AI has literally sent Camille packing into the wall, and it's unfortunate. There's damage, and we are under full safety car conditions.
Oh no. That is the worst case scenario. We've got Arnold Patinen drive through, speeding under safety car. Everyone's going to be coming into pit lane now. I don't want to say luckily for Camille that it's a safety car, but it is very lucky. But this shouldn't be happening in the first place. Why is the AI even there? I have no idea. Why is the AI even there in the first place, EA? This is just absolutely just so atrocious, and unfortunately, Camille Statura has not been affected by it once, but twice now in this race. He just seems to have no luck in that kick Sauber. He's going to come out back in P5, which is lucky for him. But once again, just why do we have that AI? And it's going to potentially affect these drivers once more as we head out of that safety car restart. And guess who's going to be behind it? Camille Statura.
Oh no, that's disaster. But we're all eyes onto the AI. Look at you, you little murderer. You're going to lose your super license with this one. That's a fact. But it's an unfortunate game bug. For some reason, there are people in the chat questioning why this has happened. And yeah, like Big C says, I don't know, when you joined the lobby originally, on the disconnect, if you press join session, if you're in that lobby menu, you can't press join session, you have to press spectator. It will automatically launch you into the lobby. I don't know how this has happened or why it's happened, but if you press spectator when you got back into that pre-lobby settings, then it's clearly just some sort of game bug.
Yeah, I did. And then I pressed join session on the second one because, of course, I knew my AI was already there to try and then rectify the issue. And for some reason now, it's not letting me take control of the car completely. So it genuinely has to be a bug that has just unfortunately arrived in this session and in this race.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Y'all stop asking for tyres. Like, I'll show them when you see them. We've still got like another full lap of safety car.
We certainly do. And for Camille Statura, I just feel so guilty that it's my AI, it's my name to the car, and
I mean, it's going to be funny to see if he puts a
Oh, it's back in. It's back in. It's back in. So we will not have any more AI dramas. It has come back into pit lane. Hallelujah. That that would have really been very costly indeed.
It's boxed for fresh softs.
It's boxed for fresh softs. So luckily, no more AI antics.
Why is the commentator not retired? Jake, the commentator, is not even in control.
Yeah, I don't understand it. This game it confuses me sometimes.
Well, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. We're just gonna have to run with what we've got. I'm not going to mention the matter anymore. We spoke about it a lot. We can just hope now, with it being at the back of the field and only 4 laps to go, that it is going to stay out of the way.
Let's just hope so. Because
it's at the back of the field. It's lapped. 4 laps. They're not going to catch it even on soft tyres. I do believe that we now shall be safe.
We should be safe, but it's going to be a very interesting end indeed due to tyre differences. So we got Przeeble on the hards, then we got Lee on the mediums, followed by Preskin, Kuja, both on hards, Statura on mediums, Roberts on hards, and then it's Alea, Sousa, Modler, Bieda, Putanen on the softs. Sprogis and Tonelato on the hards, and then Cloud once again on the mediums, same with Victor Vidler. So we've got a real difference in tyre strategy. This is certainly going to be a very frantic ending, and for Isaac Lee, it's probably in the best position possible on those medium tyres.
Absolutely, we're now on board with Gregory. He's coming round out of Ravatsa now. The AI is the safety car is in the pit lane, and it's all for this driver to take us away with the start now, trying to get the best jump he can, and he does go away by 6/10. Caught Isaac Lee out just by a bit, but did not catch out Tador Presican. He's all over the back of Isaac Lee, but also has a V-carb. Daniel keeping him company. Camille Statura now looking to retake positions that were lost, and there's some carbon flying as Lucas Paterno, and he's all over the track though, barely able to keep his positions, falling down to 16th ever more, and Camille Statura did bring the fight to Daniel, but was unable to take that position away.
Big crash in the background. Felipe Sousa and Victor Vidler involved, and we're back under safety car once again.
Oh, correct. Oh, no. So this is going to be a 2-lap shootout because it's going to be safety car for this lap, lap 30, then it has to go in. Has to go in on lap 30, just under regulation in the game. Physics, the final 2 laps, you cannot physically have a safety car. But couldn't you just restart after quality to remove the AI? Well, maybe, but we chose to hopefully have no issues, rectify it, yes, and it's not worked, so it is what it is. We now know for future reference that if this was to happen, a lobby restart is needed. Go bear with us, it's a new game.
It's a new game. A new update came out this week, so these things can happen. Bugs that we don't know about can then come about and cause a little bit of chaos. As we've also got the performance issue for some of the drivers, as we've seen Modler, I think that's Victor Vidler. No, it's only Modler and Sprogis coming into pit lane, and it'll be Victor Vidler sitting behind that AI at the moment. But yeah, I don't understand what EA's thinking, but we should be underway soon for another lap. So it'll be at the end of this lap, it'll be green flag running all the way to the end. We have to have 2 green flag laps within the game to finish off the race. So for Isaac Leet, he gets 2 opportunities at an overtake. So let's see what he's going to be able to do here, Corey.
Yeah, Isaac Leet looking good for potential final charge to victory on Gregory Prisbel if he can't fight it off. But he's done well. Gregory's shown pace all race long. It wouldn't surprise me to see Gregory take the victory and be able to defend Isaac Leet, but that DRS could prove crucial on the penultimate lap. Well, he won't even have it. We won't even have it.
No, we will have DRS on. No, we won't.
Final lap. On the final lap. That's it. It'll have to come down to the final lap, down towards Tamburello.
There will be no DRS at all. Well, the only DRS there could potentially be is that little burst to the line. So if we have a photo finish, it'll be very, very nice indeed. But safety car, of course, in this lap. So let's see what is going to happen for Sprogis and Modler. They're going to have to try and close up to the back of the field.
I suspect they will catch it because the pack's really, really slowed down there as we get out of Variante Alta now. It's just for Riyad Sprogis to catch back up to the back of the pack, as he will do very easily. Gregory slowing everybody down again and will take us away with another restart. And Max, you can take us away with this one.
Right then, everybody, let's see what Prajibal will do. Will he go late or will he go early? It's a very nice start there from Prajibal, but not caught Isaac Leet napping as much as he did last time around. So as we blast down that main straight, are we going to see the move from the Williams or even from the McLaren behind? Tudor Prescon tucked up in that slipstream, looking for the outside line, but expertly placed from the Williams to move it, keep himself within that top 2 as Isaac Leet now heads up into the Villeneuve chicane. Camille Satura all over the back of Daniel Kuja as we head through the right-hander of Villeneuve into Tosa, but Gregory Prajibal leads us away once more. A dream restart for him, but Isaac Leet on those mediums, especially through this middle sector, is going to be oh so fast.
Absolutely, a little bit of a squabble down at the back. Riyad Sprogis moves himself up into 13th, making use of those fresh, soft compound tyres while he can. Just 3 positions to go to get into the points and only 1 lap to do it. A lap and a half if you want to be specific for Riyad Sprogis. Can he do it even with just a couple laps tyre difference? You saw the grip coming into play in the opening start of lap 31, but now coming round in sector 3 for the second to last time. As Victor, who was that? Was that Victor Widler picking up another time penalty?
Yeah, I think it was Victor Vidler picking up another time penalty, but the final lap does begin now. Well, of course, no DRS, sorry, for Isaac Leet. So it'll all be based off the slipstream and batteries. So you head down that main straight, and it just seems that Prajibal is just streaking that little bit too far clear, and Leet not close enough for the move into the Tamburello chicane. And the Australian of Gregory Prajibal is eyeing up a second race victory of the season, and the only driver to do the double. Hit 2 out of 4 races, could be 1, but Leet still over the back of him as we head into Tosa.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking to regain any positions on the better compounder tyre, but those hards are fired up and ready to rock and roll
on Gregory's car. Isaac Lear, he's trying to send it and gain the time that he can. It could come down to the final few corners in Ravazza as we get going down now into Aqua Minerale. Still not close enough, nowhere near close enough to bring any sort of challenge into Variante Alta. And he is trying to close back up, recharging the battery. Crucial here and now, as this could be the time to do it. Going down to Ravazza. He tucks into the slipstream, burning the battery, but so does Gregory. He's got this covered. The gap starts to open half a second. It's well and truly done and dusted. Gregory did everything he needed to. Comes out of the penultimate corner now with only one left little kink to go. He comes powering towards the line and will win here for round 4 in Imola with Isaac Lear lining up second and your pole sitter Chino Presican lining up third on the podiums. Daniel Tomasetto, Tom Roberts, Clouds, Alan Bieda, Valentino Labella and Camille Stachura after disaster finishes off your points positions.
That was a very frantic final lap, but as soon as Gregory Przeebel got to the front of the field, he did not look back since, and he does take that race victory. Nicely done indeed. The Australian makes it 2 wins from 4 so far this season. That's how you want to start off a championship campaign. And he will be looking to try and snatch this F3 title. But the Mercedes man is back on top after 2 pretty lackluster races in his case. Finally fights back to the front. A brilliant race here around Imola. And for the likes of Prescon, it was a good recovery drive up into that top 3. For Isaac Lee, I think that's his best result of the season as well.
Yeah, very well done on the podium there for Isaac Lear. Tidal Presican as well, unable to convert that pole position into a win. Just shows you how critical strategy is in Imola as well, with the safety cars coming, throws those strategies up into the air, but in the end did well enough for a podium position, going down to the top 10. Riyad Sprogis, the final points position. Now, being the reduced points system here in PSGL, it's still only 1 point down in P10, but it's only 16 for the victory. So Gregory looking to try and claw back up. It could mean the difference. Every point matters.
Certainly does. It certainly does matter. Every point in these races are oh so crucial. And again, it's just going to be all about trying to get these consistent seasons, trying to get as much as you can out of the races as you can. And of course, for Przeebel, he's done just that here again. And yeah, so well done to Gregory. A really well-deserved victory. But I think for the likes of Tudor Prescon, he will be very much... If I boxed that 1 or 2 laps earlier, I certainly couldn't have been in that position to win it. So it just shows those slight mistakes, those slight misjudgments in error, and the lap or 2 you stay out or maybe come in earlier, it really does just play a big factor.
Can I just bother you to ask the drivers to come to interviews, because I don't have the role to see F3 chat. But we are in the interview room, just waiting to see if the drivers would like to come and have a quick little word about the Grand Prix. That being Tudor Presican, Isaac Leart, and Gregory Przeebel. So hopefully we get a nice little chat with those drivers. They can give us a little bit of a rundown on the Grand Prix and let us know how things fared for them. But it's all smiles for Gregory. He's the one who managed to pull it off in the end.
Yeah, he certainly was. And Przeebel kept cool under the pressure of those 2 safety cars. And it really did play into his hands. And you would have thought potentially Isaac Lee on those mediums would have been the one to just come out on top. And unfortunately for Isaac Lee, without that DRS, just wasn't able to help him at all. The dirty air was just too much on that lap after the safety car. Just wasn't able to get close enough. So for Gregory Przeebel, really well managed race from that safety car restart. He did not let the pressure phase him. Was able to bring out a flawless victory.
Yeah, absolutely. Much needed victory there to score back some points. Crucial, could be crucial in the championship in the end. We still have 4 rounds to go, so still a long way to go in the championship. But I'm not seeing any drivers coming to the waiting room. Other than that, Max, next week, Silverstone, Britain. Excited for that one?
Oh yeah, 100%. Isaac Leak's not joining. He said he didn't realise there was any, so he's already switched his PC off. So we won't hear from Isaac Leak. But yeah, Silverstone, it's going to be a fun one. I love Silverstone. It always produces amazing races, and I can't wait for it. It's going to be very heavy on tyre wear too. I know tyre wear can be very heavy around Silverstone, so it's going to be a lot of management as well. But we should see quite a good race from the drivers at Silverstone. Plenty of overtaking opportunities. The complete opposite of Imola, where you really only have one or two. You have a handful around Silverstone. You have a good chunk of places where you can go for a move. Good amounts of slipstream as well. So we should see quite a fun one there. And you really want to make that race the race you want to win. That point in the championship, be the 5th round of the season, just under halfway done. So it'll be certainly the race where you're thinking, I need to get the race victory, start my championship challenge, because after then, it could be too little too late.
Yeah, absolutely. But for now, that is all for us. And it's been a pleasure to be back on the tiers. If you've seen the series, I've been over there doing that. So you're not seeing me on the PSGL tiers this season. Did F3 last season with Orme. But again, Max, been a pleasure. And we have no drivers joining us for interviews. So I think we can call it a day and wrap it up here and now, my friend.
Yeah, I think we can. So yeah, everybody, thank you all very much for joining me and Corey on this quite wild and wacky, one-of-a-kind Imola Grand Prix. And I thank you all very much for tuning in. Of course, the support is always highly appreciated. So yeah, it should be quite an exciting rest of the season to come. The championship will always go down to that final race, you would think, here in F3 with how close it is. So we shall see you in the next one. So thank you very much as well, Corey, for stepping in.
No, absolutely. It's been fun. It's been fun. Back on the PSGL tiers and back in F3. Haven't seen it since the end of season 39, but things are looking optimistic and, of course, a bit dramatic and, of course, controversial. Some moments and game bugs, but what is an F3 race without some drama? But for now, that is all here at PSGL F3. Join us next week, same time, same place for the Silverstone Grand Prix.